Welcome. The Girl in the Basement was released in 2021 and was directed by Elisabeth Röhm. It stars Judd Nelson, who you guys might know from The Breakfast Club, and Stefanie Scott, and is about the true story of a father who locks his daughter in the basement for over 20 years. So before we start really getting into this review, I do want to say right from the beginning, this is a very triggering movie. So if certain stuff like rape and things like that are triggering, I highly suggest that you don't watch this movie. It is not for you. It's a very, very triggering movie. It's based off of true events, so if that would be triggering that you could, stuff like that. Don't watch this movie. It's not for you. And I also would like to say that I'm not going to give this movie a letter rating at the end of it. I kind of want to have a discussion about this movie. So there will be some spoilers that I will be talking about. So there's your little spoiler warning, but okay, let's start talking about The Girl in the Basement. So like I said, this movie is based off true events that happened in real life. And the movie takes some liberties with the story. I think originally the girl in real life was locked in the basement for 24 years. In the movie, it's only 20. They changed the way that the girl is found in the movie than how she was found in real life. They do little things like that in between. Another thing is the amount of babies that she has. They don't do as many in the movie than as she did in real life, which I'm okay with that, But man, was this such an uncomfortable and really hard movie to watch in so many different aspects. I mean, of course, the fact that it's based on a true story and that basically all of it stayed true to what happened is absolutely horrifying that something like this happened in real life and how it's now being portrayed within a Lifetime movie. And this movie brings up a discussion of something that I've talked about before, which is showing rape scenes for no real reason except for being exploitive and stuff like that. This movie, being based off of true events, happened. She was raped in this basement by her father, and it is shown within this movie. Luckily, not insanely graphic as seen in other movies like The Last House on the Left. They really don't show a lot, but they show enough to make you very uncomfortable. And I think something that made it worse was Judd Nelson isn't the greatest actor in this movie, which made it a lot tougher to watch these sequences knowing that he isn't the best actor doing these things. And it just added this layer of it made me feel like I was physically cringing a lot of these sequences. And I think that's a lot of this movie. It's very triggering, but it does bring up a discussion of, that there's always people there for you and there's always people to talk to. And at the end of the movie, they have the number of an abuse hotline if you need something like that, which I really appreciated. But it's a very tough movie to watch. So if sensitive subjects like that or, you don't like watching that, this is not the movie for you. It really explores those themes and discusses this poor woman's story. And yeah, goes into a lot of detail. So I think instead of giving a number rating, it leads to the discussion of, is this movie good? And I think it's effective in what it's trying to do, in that telling this woman's story while also entertaining an audience showing this story, as uncomfortable as it is. I don't want to go into much more detail about stuff that happens in this movie, but like I've been saying, if sensitive subjects like that are something that makes you very uncomfortable, this movie, don't watch it. It's not for you. I'd say that for those who are curious about the story, that you should look it up and find more about it. And if you would want to see a cinematic telling of it, then watch this movie. But other than that, it's not a movie that I would really recommend for people to watch, just based on how uncomfortable it is. And you know, that's what it's trying to do, is trying to make you uncomfortable, because this is the events that happened. But it's not a movie that not a movie for everybody. I think that's the best way to put this. Yeah, I think it's the best way to put it. So thank you everyone for watching this review for The Girl in the Basement. Very sensitive topics in this movie. Like I said, I encourage you to read the real story if you're interested in that, and if you want to see a cinematic portrayal of it, then watch this movie. But other than that, I really wouldn't recommend it. It's not one to watch with friends or anything like that. It's very uncomfortable, very effective in that. So again, thank you everyone for watching this review, and be on the lookout for a review of The Dark and the Wicked. That'll be coming out on Tuesday, and on Wednesday, I'll be doing a podcast of it with the boys at the Three Strangers podcast, but we will also have a guest, Hurley Games. He is going to be on there and discussing this movie with us. So be on the lookout for that. It's going to be such a fun podcast. But let's flash forward to the next review.